Hi everyone, Doug Oosterhart here and Colin Overway. We are two wealth management advisors that founded our own fee-only financial planning firms. Today, basically, we wanted to talk about 4 different areas that we've been studying, and they all relate to finance, but they also have real-world applicability in more than just the financial realm. So the first one we wanted to talk about was this concept of a 6-hour workday, which is from a podcast that I listened to on a drive that I had a while back, and it's by Brighton Jones, and they put this podcast on, but basically it's called True Wealth, WELLTH. And Colin, I'll let you talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the podcast is really just about how to measure success and how to better your life in a bunch of different areas, not necessarily just monetarily. And they brought on a really interesting gentleman, Ron Friedman, who wrote the book The Best Place to Work, and talks a lot about how to peak your performance in different areas of your life. And one of the areas he was talking about today was the workplace. And I hear all the time how clients, or even my friends' clients are, they're like, oh, I'm in the office, I have to be there from 9 to 5, I hate it. And he's just saying how unproductive that is. And it's so funny, we can see it with ourselves or with our friends, and of how many hours do you actually work when you're just sitting there taking up space in the office for 9 hours. And for us being entrepreneurs and owning our own practices, we are able to be a little more flexible, so we can probably implement some of the strategies that he was talking about more. But man, it is really tough, to really just try to limit the hours of work and to work when you're the most productive. So one of his examples was that he's super productive in the morning. So he's like, hey, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., maybe the amount of work that I can get done would be equivalent to 2 hours in the afternoon. So he really hammers his work out when he is the most productive. I think it's really awesome, great concept, probably tough to implement for people who are, have the boss or, and are, the normal job is 9 to 5. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, basically, just a couple takeaways from this. He just talks about companies that are going to start rewarding employees for not working. So they might turn off the employee's email while the employee's on vacation. I thought that was interesting. One that he talks about is he'll go to work for 4 hours straight, have a long lunch, take a nap, and then work for 3 more hours, but he gets a ton done. I mean, I've been in corporate worlds, or in the corporate world, they basically, you work 4 or 5 hours a day max, and then the rest of the time you're BSing with coworkers and all that. So I guess we'll leave it there. But yeah, that's a phenomenal podcast. It's pretty short, and we listen to everything on 1.5 times anyway. So the next one is basically, there's some legislation going through the House and Senate right now to change retirement rules, and this affects everybody. So the first one is basically the required minimum distribution age on IRAs and 401ks is currently 70.5, and that might get bumped to age 72. And this is all taken from a Wall Street Journal article that we read. It's kind of interesting. What's your take on this with RMDs?
Well, I kind of laugh at DC because they are scrambling to pull together some additional revenue dollars. It seems like they're always short. I mean, government shutdowns are starting, unfortunately, to become a popular thing. And then they say, well, I guess we don't need these revenue dollars for an additional, 1.5 years. We can bump the RMDs from 70.5 to 72. Yeah. I love it for my practice and for my clients, being able to kick that tax can down the road as long as possible. Sure. So to me, I'm looking at it as a positive, another tool in my belt to help clients. But I gotta really wonder what the motive was behind that, trying to help people who are in retirement maximize their situation. I would have to think that's the idea, but I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. That's cool, but kind of questionable.
Yeah, that's fair. The next one is basically regarding 529 plans. So today's May 30th. Yesterday was 529 day. This will allow parents to withdraw up to $10,000 for repayment of some student loans. So I don't know, kind of cool, kind of interesting. The next one that we both like, I know, is parents, but I don't know, it kind of disincentivizes retirement. But basically it says parents will be able to take penalty-free distributions from retirement accounts up to $5,000 if they do that within a year of either a birth or an adoption. I don't know, kind of interesting.
I wonder if if those dollars have to be implemented, proven for child expenses, like if there's going to be qualified expenses. Otherwise, I'm kind of seeing potentially another. I mean, I'm just trying to exploit the loophole, right? And see if we can get those dollars into another avenue that maybe could grow more efficiently.
Yeah, exactly. one big one that's interesting, and there isn't necessarily an explainer on this, but it's talking with beneficiary IRAs or inherited IRAs. There's some rules right now that allow you to stretch out your distributions from those, which basically lowers your tax liability over time. If you're the beneficiary. But this rule would be how it's written. It says the beneficiary must liquidate quote unquote balances greater than 400,000 within 5 years. So I'm not sure on this if it means, you know, that you have to take out the balance over 400,000 within that 5-year time frame, or not. I guess we'll see what the final bill says. But it's interesting, if you inherit $1 million IRA, and if you said, oh, I have to take out 600,000 in 5 years, that's $120,000 of extra income that you'd have. And I don't know, there's going to be some estate planning issues with this, but
yeah, to me, that's definitely a revenue grab from the IRS, but we'll see if that sticks. That one I obviously not a fan of. Last one here was that small employers were able to band together to offer what would be like group 401ks. So trying to just like reduce administrative costs for every single small employer to have like a third-party administrator and having to file 5,500 form. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. If you get a plumber and a law firm or, you know, whatever, they can band together to create one 401k. I don't know. I'm kind of always a fan of whatever helps people save more for retirement. So
same here.
Third one is this Jeopardy winner, this James Holzhauer. Crazy. He's won 30 straight times, won about 2.3 million. He's a couple 100,000 off of Ken Jennings' all-time record of about 2.5 million. But there's one unique thing about him. He doesn't bet with emotions really at all. He just plays the odds. So
yeah, I think the guy's hilarious. I mean, I'm rooting for him. I haven't been interested in Jeopardy in like ever. So this finally sparked my attention. It's funny to see, and I hope he can continue to keep crushing it.
Yeah, I saw on CNBC there's like a 70% chance of getting the daily double correct. So he's like, all right, cool. Mathematically, I'll just double down and make it a true daily double every time. So it's working. So we'll see how long his streak lasts. The fourth one and last one that we're going to touch on is basically a topic that one of our favorite bloggers, Ben Carlson, did about wealth being stuff that you can't see. So it's from a Schwab survey that 3 in 5 Americans pay more attention to how their friends spend compared to how they save. And then an equal number saying that they're at a loss to understand how their friends are able to afford expensive vacations and trendy restaurant meals they portray on social media. This is interesting.
Yeah, so interesting. And I feel like Instagram has got to just be like the #1 advocate for this. I mean, if you look at anyone's life on Instagram, it just looks like, you know, the absolute peak image of what they could possibly be living like. And that's what people see. That's what they like. That's what they comment on. And it's I would say it can't be healthy, right? I mean, just being so misled to think that everyone besides you, who you're the only one looking at your bank account or whatever the case is just able to afford all these amazing things. I guess I just have to say, like, and warn people, it's probably, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. I have seen a lot of situations with clients that have amazing stuff and maybe have a lower than zero net worth. So I would be careful to probably call people wealthy based on their stuff.
Yeah, bottom line, people see spending and they equate it with success. That's not always the case. We want to incentivize savings, and we have some ideas, and we think it's interesting that savings is not necessarily super incentivized right now, aside from maybe your 401k match, but it's interesting. Maybe people will start posting photos of their investment accounts.
I know. I wish that, I mean, how would that, I've never seen anyone post except for maybe like Mr. Money Mustache or some of these like random, you know, all these random blogs. But, you know, it'd be awesome for the mainstream to catch where it's like you post a picture of your 401k and it's like, finally hit $10,000, like, you know,
100 grand, 500 grand, whatever it is, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Or, you know, even if it's small or medium goals, like whatever the case is, like, you know, on track to retire early and you're like still 30.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That would just be the coolest thing ever. It would just bring a tear to my eye.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's just interesting. It's kind of a cool topic, but yeah, I mean, true wealth is the stuff that you really can't see. So I don't know. We'll leave it there, but thanks for watching. If you have any ideas or anything like that, we would love to hear those. Send them our way. We will leave a lot of our notes here in the description, and we'll go from there. Thank you, everybody, and we will be back soon.
See ya.